In today's video, I'm going to take you through the consulting process, more specifically how to approach, discuss, and agree particular pieces of work you need to lead on, either as an internal or external consultant. I will be sharing with you the 5 essential steps you will need to take in order to discuss and solve business problems effectively.
Step 1 is contracting. This is where we need to establish the foundation of our consulting relationship. This is all about making that first contact and building trust with the client. You can think of this step as terms and conditions of your work relationship. In terms of key points, we would begin by initiating communication and understanding the client's needs. We then need to proceed to deal with something that's called preliminary problem diagnosis. We need to ask clarifying questions, lots of them, to start diagnosing the issue at a high level. We need to help our clients define a problem statement. Do not rush this step. Once we've grasped the problem and what the business challenges are, we then need to propose how we will approach the assignment, or how we suggest for this problem to be approached, and outline expectations. We then need to finalize with a formal agreement that sets the project scope and timeline. In order to finalize this step, we may need to have a couple of meetings. It's very important not to rush this step. The step 2 is diagnosis. This is where we really need to start unpacking the problem. It's not enough to just treat surface level issues. Our job is to find the root cause. In terms of key points, we need to start from something that's called fact finding, gathering data through interviews, surveys, and analysis, or any other previous work that might have happened. Fact analysis and synthesis is the next step. We then need to identify patterns and trends that give a clearer picture of the issue, and finalize this step by providing detailed problem examination. We need to move beyond symptoms to find the real cause, and this step may take a few weeks as well as few months to complete. It does depend on how big of a problem statement or a challenge you're dealing with. Step 3. Once we've completed our diagnosis, step 3 is feedback. This is where we need to present findings to the client, to our customers, making sure everything is clear and actionable. In terms of key points, we would start from something that's called developing solutions. So we would present our proposed solutions based on the diagnosis we have found and established. We then need to proceed by providing or evaluating alternatives. We need to offer alternative solutions weighing pros and cons. In my own experience, customers or leaders usually like to see 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 options. So this gives them an opportunity to debate and choose which ones they want to go ahead with. Remember, they are still, after all, decision makers. We are simply giving them an opportunity or helping them to make the best decision for the company. We then need to deliver feedback and ensure that the key stakeholders understand and are aligned. And then we need to finalize this bit by planning for implementation. We need to agree on the next steps for moving forward with the solutions. In my experience, when it comes to presenting anything to decision makers, we are often given very short slots, or not enough time to actually present everything we want to say in as much detail as we would like to. So therefore, I would suggest you present your findings and your report in no more than 30 minutes if possible. Step 4. Now we're on to solutions. This is the phase where we need to roll up our sleeves and help the client and our customers implement the agreed changes. In terms of key points, this is when we need to start assisting with implementations. We'll need to guide the client through executing the proposed solutions, whether that's through workshops, training, or coaching. We then need to adjust proposals. If changes arise during the implementation and delivery step, we need to be ready to adjust the solutions in real time. So therefore, our options have to be quite flexible, not set in stone. We also need to ensure the client's team is equipped with the skills and knowledge they need to sustain the solution. This can also take anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. Again, it does depend on how long the implementation plan is for. It's very important to actually discuss proper action planning and spend good quality time rather than rush over this step. Step 5, evaluation. Finally, we reach evaluation. This is a critical step where we assess the impact of the solutions we've put forward and ensure the project has met its objectives, or initiative has met its objectives. In terms of key points, we need to conduct a thorough review of the implementation process. We need to provide the client or a customer with a detailed report summarizing the outcomes. We need to make sure all agreed deliverables have been met, and we also need to agree on a plan for periodic reviews or adjustments. It's also important to identify key takeaways and ensure that both us and the client can learn from the process. We also may need to allow 6 to 12 months for this proper analysis and evaluation to take place, because sometimes when we we do things and put things in place, it does require a certain period of time before we can actually go in and ask as to whether there has been any progress or not. In terms of a real example, especially for us who work as HR business partners, this is a common challenge that we often have to support with. So in step one, think of this example. If a company approaches you about improving employee engagement, our role in this phase is to listen carefully to their concerns, to discuss how urgent this request is, propose an initial approach based on best practice and our own experience, and formalize an agreement as to how we would support them to move forward. In step two, diagnosis, in the employee engagement scenario, we might conduct employee surveys, review turnover rates, and analyze leadership communication. The data could reveal that poor communication from leaders is the main factor driving disengagement. In step three, and feedback, and in this particular example of employee engagement challenges, we need to show the client that poor communication is causing disengagement and propose leadership training as one potential solution. We also need to provide alternatives like reshaping communication channels or setting clearer goals. And together we need to decide on the best way to implement these changes. In step four, as in solutions, for the engagement issue, we might need to assist with implementing leadership workshops and communication training. It does depend on whether you have L&D teams, as in learning and development teams, as part of your HR structures. If not, you may need to deliver this step. Throughout this process, we need to make adjustments as needed to keep things on track and transfer knowledge so the team can carry forward the changes independently. Step five, in this particular example, after the leadership training, we could track employee engagement scores and ask again. And for example, we could notice, and hopefully we would notice, a 20% improvement. We also can provide a final report and work with the client to set up a long-term follow-up plan to ensure continued success.
If you have liked this video, there are many other similar ones on my channel, so I'll see you in the next one.